Hi, I'm Nina Gigele and this is Skiersmindset Talk. I'm here to interview and talk with athletes, pros, mentor coaches, entrepreneurs, and many more who relate to skiing. Together, we want to improve our mindset in skiing and also in business life. Hello to another Skiersmindset Talk, this time with the famous Ivica Kostelic. He has been one of my dream athletes and role models when I was young, racing and skiing. And I'm so glad to have you here. How are you, Ivica?
Hi, nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Are you doing good?
Yeah, doing perfect.
Nice, cool.
I'm in Poland, working on a farm.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Ivica, tell us a little bit about your skiing season. I mean, you're now a free rider, and I'm really curious on how it was. How was the season?
Well, I wouldn't go so far to call myself a free rider. Yeah, I was free riding a lot this season, especially since I have a nice cooperation with Overtown, and this is a very nice free riding spot. And I started to work on a film project in around Overtown. The movie is called Freedom. It involves free riding, and actually I'm interested about what free riders think about freedom, what is freedom, and so on. Otherwise than that, yeah, I've been trying to catch as much powder as I could. I was in Alaska end of March, beginning of April for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And yeah, had some good time over there as well. So yeah, enjoying, I wouldn't say just free riding, just, touring, staying off piste, and mostly hunting powder.
What is freedom for you?
Freedom for me is, I would say, possibility of creation and expression without any influence from the side.
What would you call as an influence? What could that be?
But everything is an influence. I mean, there's intentional and unintentional influence. And of course, all of the information that we are processing are influential to us. But let's say if you're making a decision or you're making a creation, you're doing something, whatever it is, that there is nothing between you and this thing that you're doing that comes from the side, only your own drive, so to speak. And there's almost, I would say, even if you are involving conscience, it's not complete freedom. So I think skiing is very similar to freedom because you are in the present moment and nothing stands between you and your action.
Was that the same for you when you were alpine racing and now in free riding? Or do you see there's a difference?
Yeah, I mean, when you are skiing, when you are in the action, that's the same feeling. Absolutely. Maybe you're focused on other goals, and the feel is different. If you are competing and not competing, that's one of the big differences. Yeah, it's the same thing, that you are in the present and nothing occupies your mind except the action that you're performing.
I feel like in the free riding it's a different way of freedom, right? Because like you say, in skiing it's the same, but and for sure you have different things from the outside who struggle, or you might change your mind regarding freedom. But in free riding, you have another issue or another challenge, which is just like the nature. It's like avalanches. It's like the risk you have. There might be something slightly different to freedom. Could that be?
Well, of course. Yeah. Well, now this is there are limitations, of course, in anything that you do. And these are the limitations that you have to accept, or actually you don't have to accept them either.
Yeah.
You can ride even dangerous terrain if you decide to ride it. I mean, you just have to be aware of the consequences and then accept those consequences. So it's basically, it's also part of the freedom. If you want to ride, you can ride anything. I think freedom has its cost. That's for sure. In anything, there are some things that you have to sacrifice for it. But ultimately, there's probably nothing more valuable than freedom. in this world.
I totally agree. How come you started that? Like, what's the background of it? How is there anything in particular, or was it like a challenge you seek by yourself, or how did it work?
I was skiing during the lockdown. I was one of the lucky ones that went into the mountains, and I realized that something has been taken away from us, something very, very valuable. And it was a unique situation where we have never faced something like this as humans, I suppose, for a very long time. It's just that like the possibilities have been taken away from us. And then I met other people in the mountains, mostly people touring and free riding. And I was wondering if what are their thoughts about freedom? Do they realize how lucky they are that they're actually consuming the freedom? Are they aware of this? And yeah, that was like it was basically started during the lockdown. It was just an idea one day. It's like, wow, I'm here enjoying all this, consuming all this joy, and people are locked down between four walls. Other people are locked down. I suppose people have become more aware of this issue after the Corona crisis. You know, what is freedom, and why we appreciate it so much, and so on. And I think subconsciously there has been something has moved inside the people. We see today, after the Corona crisis, how much more nature enthusiasts we have. People are in the mountains, people are hiking, touring, skiing off piste. So they are, I think subconsciously they have learned the lesson, so to speak. Freedom is something super valuable, and you should not wait for it. You should not. You should take the moment and enjoy this huge value that we have. And I think people have learned that during the Corona crisis. This is actually where the idea for the movie came from.
Amazing. Do you see there are any challenges coming?
Well, you know, it's like this theme is like huge. You can discuss freedom in a lot of human activities, which are connected to this moment. I find like that you are coming into the nature where you are not influenced by other people, other people's will, and that you are of free will, and you are connected to this activity that you're doing. So there's like not only skiing, there's a lot more sports that share the same framework. But of course, my movie is focused on free riding, and this is why I would really like to involve a lot of people from different points of view. So far, I had like athletes, non-athletes, and what is very also important to see what freedom means in different cultures. So not only Europeans, you need to look into other cultures as well. What is their picture of freedom? This is a huge theme, and unfortunately, I will not be able to keep everything in focus in a freeriding movie. But this is maybe something for the future. Anyways, for now, I'm happy how it's going. I just need to stay in the freeriding frame in a way.
Okay, I have another question. I mean, it's so trendy at the moment that people are turning back into the World Cup. Would you do that? And if yes, how would it be for you?
No, I wouldn't do that. The thing is
Okay.
that even if I wanted like to come back, my knee is not ready to race anymore.
Mm.
So my body is not ready to do it, and it's not going to be ready. So this time for me is pass. But certainly, you know, there are moments when you wish that you would race again. But this is, I think, this is common with every athlete.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. What would you change or what the World Cup, or what would you see like that's something I would love to get a positivity out of it, or can be just slightly things, small things, maybe in the start, or
Yeah, you know, this issue is very big. I've been addressing and thinking about this a lot. Trying in my own way to point to sign things even when I was racing. But I think it's just, I think it's a loss of time in a way. That's what I learned. Unfortunately, when you are young, you're trying to change everything like young people do, and I would say my thoughts were always they always had something strategical in mind, and this is how I look at things. I don't look at things at the level of this moment or within this season or so on. It's like the long-term decisions and actions are the ones that decide about the face of the sport in a way, and they have like deep consequences. And these are the issues that are the hardest to address. They're never touched, mostly because people are afraid to change them. So we always end up with superficial decisions that basically don't change the core of the problem, and so on. And here the thing is, skiing as sport has like the interest for skiing has been stagnating. I'm talking about competition, not skiing as a sport as a whole. I'm talking about Alpine Skiing World Cup. It has not so far. It has not continuing to grow as the, I would say, the whole global thing is growing. Other sports are growing, and I think the alpine skiing is just turning in circles in a very, I would say, local, kind of local way. We always see the same nations, same ski resorts, same people turning around. And today, of course, we have this huge marketing, I would say, I don't know how to say this, machine inside FIS, who is trying to, promote things and so on. But in essence, nothing, there are no serious changes. And I don't know. This all of this talk is what I'm telling here is nothing. This is a thing that you have to talk for a very long time, and then the other thing is that you have to also, one has to also understand how things work inside World Cup, and this is what many people don't understand because they are watching TV and following races. I would say, for me, the biggest problem which nobody addresses in the World Cup is slow, just drainage of young people going away from the sport into another sports, and we're not getting in the big amounts of fresh blood, especially not from nations that are not culturally connected to skiing. And then the essence of problem for many years have been this group 30, where the points, or I would say the future, was determined by if you're in top 30 or not top 30. And if you're not top 30, you're not on TV. And then you lose interest, you lose people. And instead of trying to get the young people in, you're pushing the young people out. They choose other sports, or they choose to quit. And nobody was thinking about this problem. And then all of a sudden you see that by the end of my career, top 30 group of slalom and GS is full of old people, and young people are not coming up. And the system of top 30 has been around since 1992. And now the damage is so huge that it's hard to repair it. So, and these are the things that need addressing, but nobody wants to touch. So there are other things as well. But I have learned that, this the FIS is it's basically a society where there's no captain. There's ski associations, and each of them is lobbying for their own interest. The direction or strategy of development is always just wandering around, present interest to another present interest, and so on. So there is no strategy or insight into the future. There's just like, they don't know what basically they're doing. They're trying to do something which will have a short-term effect, but nobody's addressing the really important things.
Thanks for sharing. I totally can like I find can see your passion about in general skiing, and I get that it's a difficult situation within that which is just one part, right? Alpine skiing. I mean, skiing is so much more than racing red and blue, and I'm so glad that you kind of realized that with your freeriding. It's been so much fun talking to you about that freeriding sector. Also, when we saw each other in Kitzbühel, and we have to ski, that's for sure. And I have a
For
question
sure.
regarding like if you would ski again, like if you would kind of grow up, or if there's like you said before, there are lots of young kids who stop skiing, what would you advise or give as a young kid that they don't stop skiing? It doesn't need to be in racing in general, because I feel that's a very important thing, to not stop skiing, right?
Yeah, I mean, skiing is like almost like music. If you learn it, it pays off for the rest of your life, and it awards you in many ways, which are just somehow connected to skiing. And even when I was racing, I loved that maybe even more than competing, in the way, that you are on the mountain, that you are privileged human being, just being out there, being able to enjoy this feeling of flying on the slopes, or just this feeling of dropping without falling in the steep powder runs, and the fresh air. So many things that people all around the world crave, you have at your hand when you are on the mountain. It's a great privilege. And once when you learn skiing, the skill, then you have so many possibilities for the rest of your life. And this is I think it's a really great investment. But of course, it depends. If you want to become a top racer, there are certain things that you have to do at your young age. But like I said, I always say, each one of us chooses their own goals and has the full right to choose their own goals. Not everyone needs to be a top racer, but everyone will enjoy the benefits of the sport of skiing, even in the older age.
You mentioned those possibilities. Can you share some of those? What do you see as a possibility or a chance?
Wow. Skiing is just huge. It's skiing as a sport involves so much. Now it's even more developing in different ways. I see people flying with paraglides, on skis, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. The skiing is just like discovering the mountain. It's not when you're racing, you're focused on, like you said, red and blue, but there's so much more on the side. And this is for you to choose. The only thing, like you said, you just need to keep going, keep skiing. And once when you have the skill level, then of course it's like in a video game, the new level opens up, the new terrain opens up, the new possibilities, and so on.
Oh, that's lovely explained, like a game. I love that. That's cool. When you have been the first time up in a mountain, besides pistes, have you been nervous? Like, have you felt like a little bit out of the comfort zone?
It's been a long time. I have always felt very comfortable on the mountain because I was not born in the mountains. I came into the mountains and I spent a lot of time there. So from the first moment on, the mountain was a privilege for me. It was not something that I have taken for granted. Like, you are from Arlberg, you have the mountains on your doorstep, and I have to make an effort to come into the mountains, and kind of I have to let go of somewhere else, and then I've spent a lot of time in the mountains, really, as a child, because we would go training usually in 1 month blocks, and we would either go to Meltalagletscher or Hintux, and we mostly spent my teenage years I spent in Möltaler, where there was a hotel on 3,000 meters altitude, and I was once there when I was 16 years old. I spent 46 days without ever going into the valley. So I spent
Oh,
46 days on the glacier every day, which involves not only training but also the free time. And you kind of get friendly with the mountain. So I never felt uncomfortable. No, absolutely not. Especially because on the free ride, you get to choose your own line. You get to choose what you want to ski. Once, like, let's say when you're racing, you don't have this privilege because the course is set, and you have to do whatever the challenge is before you. You cannot change it. And in the end, okay, maybe you can slow down, but this is not the core of racing. So the only time when I was feeling uncomfortable was basically skiing down the Strife.
Can imagine.
And but not it's like I said, it's your choice. I'm trying to be realistic about my goals when I'm going free riding. If I see something that is out of my league, something that I don't want to do, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Of course, there is always, like, if you decide to go free riding for at really high end level, then you have to accept that at certain points you will feel uncomfortable. But this is normal. You always try to push yourself to that limit, and I do that as well. But I would say, yeah, you have to adapt to your own goals. Absolutely. So
Nice. Cool.
free
What's the
riding is more
goal?
about enjoying.
What's the goal of Ivica for the upcoming months?
No, I'm going sailing. I'm going to do some sailing this summer, and then spend some time in my summer home, and then I'm going to prepare some projects for the next winter, and that's it. And then the winter's coming. I'm going again back to Obertown to film the rest of the Freedom movie, and then I have some other projects planned for the end of the winter season.
Is it like, when can we expect your movie?
In the fall of 2025.
Cool. Exciting. Do you mentioned like you want to go into other cultures? Can you share something about it, or is it secret where you want to
No,
go?
absolutely not. No, first of all, I wanted to see the difference, if there is any difference, how men and women see freedom. It's like, because I wanted to have the female view as well. I've had already a few of female writers on the movie, and then I had my old friend from Japan, Akira Sasaki. He's also in the movie,
Yeah, cool.
and it was so refreshing to see his view of the freedom and
Wow.
it was funny to see that what he was saying was quite different from what Europeans were saying. And in a way, it was kind of spiritual what he said, while Europe maybe are addressing more the physical thing. So this is the kind of things that I would like to address, to see, to discuss. That's why we're also filming next season, because we want to do some stuff with North Americans to see, like, what is if their view is different from the European or Japanese, and so on, just to involve more people, more views.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see it. That's cool. We should definitely set up another chat because I have some more questions, but I think for now it's good. And thank you so much for being part of the Skiersmindset. It's actually about freedom in the one sense. And
Good.
yeah, it's about, for me, it's inspiring to what skiing connects like all over the world, those people. It's just one sport, but in a various way. and the mindset behind of it just connects in life in general. And that's very well explained. Thank you so much, Ivica.
Hey, thanks for your
Cool.
invitation. It was a pleasure, and hopefully see you on the slopes.
Yes.